All right. Welcome to Against the Grain, ladies and gentlemen.
Against the
Now, you
freaking
guys,
grain.
you, the viewers, might not know because of the way we're going to be uploading, but we've actually taken quite a few weeks off at this point.
Like a month and a half, something like that.
Pretty much, yeah. You will also notice in the next coming weeks a change in our audio quality. We are still learning as we go, and
We've been fucking with settings for 3 hours.
yeah, before we even started today.
Yeah.
So today will be a nice short 1 hour session, kind of catch up on each other's lives and maybe talk about something controversial as always.
Of course. Yes.
So,
Or we talk about nothing.
or we talk about
Or we
dead
just-
silence for the
Dead
next
fucking
hour.
silence, yeah.
So, sorry. I just had a chocolate pretzel.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Yeah, they're pretty
For the audience, I highly recommend Hershey's chocolate-covered pretzels.
Hershey's Dip Pretzels. Sponsor us, please.
So when you guys came over, one of the topics that we started talking about was the debate between Trump and Biden. I have not watched it.
That's a good topic.
So,
I think.
just so the debate happened 2
yes.
nights ago.
Wait. Oh, yeah, well,
us.
yeah. It's, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I only
just for the
noticed-
audience, keep that in mind.
I started getting memes last night about it, so it's about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 weeks to start making good memes.
Well, true. Yeah. Well, it happened. Yeah, it happened like 2 days ago. We all have different experiences with it. Adam did not watch it. At all.
As
right?
you've probably learned about me, I sometimes can be uninformed about the current events in politics because, like, they all need to be put in prison. So why am I going to care what they have to say? Yeah, it's hard for me to justify spending how long was that debate? An hour, 2 hours?
Something like
An
that.
hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Hour 30 minutes.
I'd rather just rub one out.
That's valid. Billy, you said you saw like clips and shit, right?
I
You saw like
saw
highlights.
little clips, and then I saw the first 5 minutes, maybe. Yeah. I decided it wasn't really worth my time. If we want, we could look up like a 5 or like a 3-minute highlight reel and react to it. What do you guys think of that?
Good.
I don't know if we have the setup for it right now.
Yeah, we kind of gotta keep.
Well, because one, we'd have to watch it. 2, then we also have to put it in the video. It just creates we are unskilled at editing at this point.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, well, I'm just saying this
You're
just
right.
so people understand that like. None of us watched the whole fucking thing. All right, we're giving all of these opinions just based on what we've seen. Adam didn't watch it. You've seen clips.
Well,
I saw like a good 25 minutes of it, like straight. So
to me, it's like they never ask in these debates why I never really watched them is because they never. Honestly, the last debate I watched was the first year Trump ran, just because that debate was so out of pocket. He'll ask someone asks a question. Ted Cruz is gay. Just straight up Trump being wild. Of course I had to watch that. I love chaos like that.
I will say, when the Republicans were running for 2016, it was glorious.
Yeah.
Those
say
debates
what you
were
will.
glorious.
Say what you will about Trump. He's entertaining, man. Either you love him or hate him, he keeps your fucking attention.
And dude, it wasn't just Trump though. Those debates had Christie.
Oh, it's fucking.
I
Yeah,
don't
fuck
even
They
know
also
what
had Bush's brother.
Yeah, Jeb Bush. And they
Oh,
made fun
shit.
of Jeb Bush the entire time. It was so fucking funny.
You know what's crazy though? Out of all those guys, the one for the Republicans, the one I kind of if I had to choose a Republican, and keep in mind I'm not choosing a Democrat. If I had to pick one, it would actually have been Ted Cruz out of them. I don't like his abortion views. I do not like that. I am very pro-choice. Anything the government tries to restrict, I'm against it. However, he's the most reasonable out of them.
Yeah. Well, if you're not an extremist fucking left or right, you kind of got to pick the views that are
somewhat align the majority of my views.
Or just the ones, if there's certain ones that are just way more important to you than others, because how important is as a general rule, right? Out of all of your views, how strongly do you feel about abortion? How big of an issue is it for you?
And that kind of sucks because I'm a man that I don't have to deal with abortion. However, on the flip side of that, if I accidentally got a girl pregnant and she wanted an abortion and I wanted to get an abortion, now I'm very pro-abortion, pro-choice.
So there's stuff you clearly disagree with him on, because obviously Ted Cruz is like highly against that.
Yeah,
But I don't fully agree with a single fucking politician.
Yeah, there's not one I fully disagree with. There's just a lot that I completely disagree with. Almost, like Bernie Sanders on the other side. There are things that I like and things I dislike. Like, I like the fact he was going to legalize cannabis. I don't like that he wanted to give specific groups of people, like, a head start in that industry. However, I also don't want the default group to have a head start, which is rich people. Monopolies. I don't want big corporations like Marlboro, Monsanto having huge fucking, like, head starts in that industry. I just believe in equality across the board. So, like Bernie Sanders wanted to give black people like a head start in the industry. He's like, yeah, because they have a history of growing weed. That is just historically untrue. First of all, white rednecks grow most of your weed. Without a doubt, it's white rednecks. There's no debate there. If you've been to Northern California and Southern Oregon or any other state that is known for growing weed, honestly, when I was living out west, I saw one black dude the entire time I was there for 5 years. Like, there's not a lot of them growing weed. And when it comes to the war on drugs, a lot of black people and hippies went to prison for it. So it wasn't exactly one-sided. The government just used the war on drugs to go after people that they deemed as dangerous. Hippies were dangerous to their views, and black people because they were racist. So it's like everybody got screwed when it came to weed. And so like I disagree with Biden on that. Not Biden, Bernie Sanders. But I also, on the flip side, it's like, what's the alternative? Give it to fucking the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company who has a rich daddy. Fuck that dude. I'll give it to black people any day of the week. So like over that 100% any day. Not even a competition.
Yeah.
So like, I don't really have like, so like realistically no president or politician really does anything the way I would do them.
Exactly.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm the same way. I think especially on the meta level, because you guys know me, the bigger the government, the better.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh my god, stop stealing Guga's line. First of all,
I love that line.
Guga is like everybody's fun uncle, and now you're just applying this like evilness to his name. I cannot abide that.
You guys don't know what we're talking about. Guga Foods on YouTube.
Oh, they
it's
know.
a nice channel.
Anybody watching our food knows Guga Foods.
Yeah. The bigger, the better.
I don't know. I don't know Guga Foods.
Guga is
I don't fucking know who that is.
Guga is he does food experiments, so he'll like dry age a steak in ketchup for 30 days.
Yeah.
Oh, is he one of those dudes? He does like YouTube shorts and shit. I've probably seen him.
He does have some YouTube shorts, but he mostly got it. He started off on YouTube as a normal YouTuber. His first video was him like showing people how to like clean up, like how to clean, kill, and take apart a lobster.
Oh.
So to prepare for cooking. That's like one of his first videos.
Oh yeah, mostly in the beginning of his channel, it was mostly tutorial stuff, like how to cook stuff, and then it turned into like some. It was like he would get rare stuff like A5 Wagyu and cook it, and then it turned into kind of like experiments.
It's like his brother or brother-in-law is an international meat dealer, so like Wagyu can only really come to the United States through meat dealers, basically, because it's so his brother gets like his hands on his brother or brother-in-law. I forgot who he is to Guga, but he gets
Emilio.
He gets his hands on like really good cuts, like stuff that's like really expensive, and if I had to guess, probably gets them for a little bit cheaper because he's in that industry. But you keep stealing his shit. Stop biting off the apple.
Yeah.
Like, everybody loves Guga, and you're just tainting his image.
Freaking
with your empire.
I'm just imagining like when Guga is doing an experiment, like he's dry aging a steak and
well, the symbolism's there. You want to dry age the people.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say he's dry aging his steak in freaking peanut butter or some crazy thing. All right, I think he did that.
Sounds like yeah. That don't sound too bad.
Yeah. Right? I mean, maybe it's
Ah,
good.
He
I don't know.
dry aged steak.
That is hardcore stoner food right there. Wagyu steak and fucking peanut butter. That's fucking yeah.
Well, it's dry aged in peanut butter. It's not necessarily like cooked in it. Like,
Yeah, like when it's dry aged, you like peel off the peanut butter and stuff. But
Oh.
we're getting
Well,
a little
take
off.
stuff.
But anyway,
We got extremely off topic.
basically, when he's covering the steak in peanut butter, he's covering it completely, and he's like, the more peanut butter, the better.
Yes.
And for
And
me,
you're
I
dry
like
aging-
that. It's like the more government, the better.
Yeah, you're trying to steal something from someone who's really sweet, really like you want to give Guga a hug, and applying his kindness to your view of
Yeah, exactly.
You're like Anakin Skywalker, peace and justice and security to my new empire. You're like,
That's that
Accurate.
unfaithful interpretation.
you're right. You're more like Palpatine
Ridiculous.
because you actually are like, I am the Senate. Do it.
do it.
Yeah, dry aging the people with government.
Yes, and then the flavor intensifies.
You know what
It's
happens to people when you
win-win.
dry age them? They die.
Google should dry age Angel one day. He's got to dry
He's
age.
threatened to do that before, like when he ruined his cast iron.
Exactly, and I.
Guga, we love you. Clearly, I love you more than Billy. Please have us over for steak.
That'd be fucking great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I don't know. I'll make a side dish. Let me know. Billy will make ramen.
He's like.
Yo,
Guga is like,
honestly, straight up, here's an experiment for you, Guga. This is for Billy. Dry age a steak in pizza rolls.
That's
exotic.
I'm trying to think of how he would do that.
Well, I already know how you do it. You would put the pizza rolls in a dehydrator, put them in a blender, grind them up into powder, powderize the steak. and
I was about to
dry age
say
it.
that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. See, Guga, we're cutting out the work for you already.
Mm-hmm.
The other one would be ramen, but I don't know how that would go.
Yeah.
For me, I'll actually make a real side dish. Like I made meatballs last night. Anyway, we're
You want-
getting
yeah, I don't want to
real
talk
off
about
topic.
We're getting
Anyway,
real off
Trump,
topic.
Trump and Biden. All right, Trump and fucking Biden. What the fuck were we saying?
Well,
we were talking about how we.
it's
how
hard
we
to have an opinion because we haven't really watched that
All I
much
can
of the
say,
debate,
all right,
except for you, Dan.
So I have not seen it. So any viewers, tell me how right I am. Both parties, all the questions they asked were irrelevant to the working class. All those questions they asked were relevant to our day-to-day lives and did not really matter. Both of them dodged questions and played stupid. And realistically, at the end of the debate, no real progress was made, and we the people are still just as uninformed as we were before the debate.
See, I like how you said no progress was made because there really fucking wasn't any. Like I said, I saw about like 25 minutes of it straight, right? Like the only things I really heard them talk about was like Ukraine and like Jan 6, and like it was just, okay. I hate how modern politics and like modern debating has become, right? Because you have the two prime candidates right here, right? Like the two motherfuckers. One of these people is going to be leading the country, okay? Think about that. The entirety of what I saw in that 25 minutes would basically be like, okay, Trump says one thing, and then it goes to Biden, and Biden is just like, everything he said was completely wrong. Here's actually what happened. Because like, and I fucking hate that. Because you're basically just going off of, okay, well, which one sounds the most reasonable? Like, it's terrible. There's too much information in this day and age. Like, because of the fucking internet, like...
And then there's a million different ways you can interpret that information. Like, with Ukraine, like there's so many different angles to talk about government and our involvement in it. Like, how relevant it is to the United States. Should we or should we not get involved? And then, like, how we've done while we were there. The things we've done that were outside the lines or what have you. Like, are we provoking war or are we not? But they're not even asking those real questions.
Well, I guess in the way I mean it, too, is more just like, okay, because of the amount of information that's out there, and, like, there's been this whole thing about, like, fake news and everything. This is the first time in history, you cannot trust a single goddamn thing that anyone says. Like, you can't trust just independent news people because it's like, where the fuck are they getting their information? You can't even trust like the big news companies because they're all running under the same shit. It's terrible. Like you're literally because when I say he would be like, oh, that's just all completely like wrong. It like see, I don't even know what I'm trying to fucking say.
I think I can
so
say
bad.
I can. Are you trying to say like they're biased as fuck?
Well,
Like, that's what I think.
A
Like,
great
okay,
example would be fact checkers on like social media. Like when you post something that's about like, what was a great example? There was this. Well, remember back in like 2020, that kid who went to a protest, had a gun, and then was attacked, and then opened fire on the people attacking him.
Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. See, like, there were so many times that people posted things, and it'd be like, this isn't true. And then you click on it, it's like, they're talking about the interpretation of
Yeah.
it.
Okay, see, I'm more talking about like, because okay, there's a difference between morally wrong and factually wrong. Like from what I saw in that debate, like because the whole point of a debate is to try to call people out on if they're morally wrong. Like
Well, I think
the
factual, too.
information itself, it's like I'm having such a hard fucking time trying to like articulate what I'm trying to say.
It's like most
there-
things are factually true at the end of the day. It's all about, like, every outlet interprets it differently, from what I've noticed. And if you don't agree with their interpretation, you're wrong.
Well, here, let me see. Like, from what like when Trump was getting asked about like Jan 6 specifically as well, I noticed this because obviously that's a hot topic for him, right? He would say something on it, and then Biden would be like, everything he said is like factually wrong, like none of that even happened, type shit. Like, there's a difference between you shouldn't be thinking that and that didn't happen. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. That's why I mean, like, there's too much information. No one knows what's fucking real anymore.
Well, I mean, and Biden, remember, I think he has brain issues. I'm honest to
100%
God,
does.
has brain
100%.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Biden's also,
From what I've heard, now remember, I have not watched the whole thing. I've only watched snippets. But from the snippets I watched, he fumbled his words a lot, and he struggled to find the right words he wanted to say. And I think, I don't know,
Well, here's the thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I do like. 'Cause, okay, let me make this clear too. I despise both of them. I hate both of their fucking guts. I don't think either of them should be president, right? But I do have to cut Biden a little bit of slack. Like, I know that's like, because you guys know he had a fucking stutter, right? That's been like everywhere.
well,
Like
that's not necessarily true. That's happened in his older age. So,
well, no, I
Biden's-
thought he's had that. Like, all his
No,
life. Well, because I thought
might
because he's
be-
been in politics like his whole life, right? I thought he had that, and then it got better as he got a little older. But now it's starting to get worse again because now he's like fucking old.
I think
So
that
I've
might be true.
I've done a lot of research on Biden. I have a lot of opinions on him. Like, he, back in the 70s and 80s, was kind of a really, like, I watched videos of him talking in the house, and, like, some of the shit he said.
Well, I've not aged well.
No, oh my god.
Oh my
bad.
god! I've seen one clip. I can't even say the words he was saying.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
like-
you know what I mean.
Like, he so you know how Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, sorry, another person I hate, Bill Clinton fucking, you know how he gets a lot of heat for passing those laws back in the 90s that were very detrimental to the black community, like arresting black people. You know how bad it was back then. Like, everybody kind of knows, like, the hip hop wars in the 90s, and like black people getting arrested at high rates of incarceration.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, a lot of that was the war on drugs, yeah.
Well, yes, but Bill Clinton revamped it. Problem is, though, that bill that he signed off on, that he gets a lot of heat from, Biden was a part of, and helped make it. He doesn't get any of the heat from it when he should.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about there's a big crime bill, yeah, that I think passed in Clinton's era.
Yeah, that Biden basically wrote most of
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah, because he's been in politics like pretty much
Since the
his whole life, but he wasn't known until he got with fucking Obama.
I forget.
Like, there's so much shit that he's done that people don't know about, probably.
he was,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, now fact check me on this, but I remember doing research on him, and he was actually fighting against, what's the opposite of segregation, like when you end segregation? Is there a word for that?
I guess just ending segregation doesn't matter.
He was trying to keep segregation in private schools. That private schools are a business and technically do not have to take black students if they don't want to.
And what decade was this?
The 70s. Late 70s.
Okay. Even for that time, that's kind of bad. But you also got to think about what, like 50 years have passed, or 40 years. Again, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say, people can't change, I guess. But
I don't know how I feel like, because I feel like it's a very hypocritical view for our day and age. Like, we shit on presidents from like the 1800s for the shit they did, even though what they were doing at that time was acceptable, if not encouraged.
Yeah, well, I guess it's because we're shitting on everyone.
Well, all right, people I don't think we should shit on. Thomas Jefferson. I think he gets a lot of heat, even though he wrote a book about why he thought slavery was evil. But then you have like Andrew Jackson, who was like, not kill all those Native Americans. So it's like, and he was much later than. So like some president, and like Andrew Jackson, someone that we were trying to get off of the $20 bill. Biden is. I'm not sure if I remember this correctly. I thought Andrew Jackson was like Civil War, post Civil War. But
fuck no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was. Andrew Jackson was like way before that.
Was he?
And trust me, I know all the presidents in order. Andrew Jackson came, he was president number 7.
Yeah.
Abe Lincoln was 16.
7th president of the United States.
Andrew Jackson was the 7th president.
He died in 1845. I mean, it's still pretty close to the Civil War. So just before the Civil War, he was president. So just a decade beforehand. Like he obviously gets a lot of heat that he deserves, but Biden is post
All
Martin
of
Luther
that.
King.
Yeah.
So, if Andrew Jackson, which is pre Civil War, gets the heat he gets when arguably his view at that time was more encouraged and highly,
because he's getting heat now. Well, it's not. We don't just shit on him. We just shit on all of what was happening back then. All of the fucking segregation and slavery stuff.
Which I feel like is a little close-minded. I think we should approach that with more tact, I guess. We should
I'm not even saying
Andrew Jackson for his time even was a little fucked up even for his time. But then I think that speaks volumes on Biden, who was fighting against private school, unsegregating private schools in the 70s, which is I would call it post civil enlightenment, civil rights enlightenment. You had the knowledge of civil rights. I would equate the Civil War and Martin Luther King in the 60s to each other, and just like Abe Lincoln has a lot of similarities to JFK. Both assassinated, both JFK was fighting for civil rights, but then you have Biden in the 70s, private schools have the right to.
Well, I guess the difference here too, because the thing with Andrew Jackson or someone like that is they were actively doing these things, because they did all that shit, and then I'm guessing they stopped being active in politics. But I mean, they don't. I don't think they ever changed their views on it. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So Biden strikes me as the kind of guy. It's because there's a lot of old people that they grew up with racism just fucking everywhere. Think about how much your childhood shapes who you are, and even Biden strikes me as the kind of guy, he's racist, but he's trying very hard not to be. Just because of the fact that he grew up before fucking Martin Luther King.
Now, is that, I almost see that as almost optimistic in a way about him. I would say that he's racist and that he only tries to portray himself as not racist so he can further his political career. I like he knows that the majority of the population is not where his brain is, and he has to play the part of someone who's more woke. I don't think that he actually is actively trying to be. I mean, remember when he was running and he said like the last time, and he said, "If you don't vote for me, you're not black." Like,
yeah. That is I forgot. That is pretty fucking wild. I forgot about that.
Like, yeah. I think he is just straight up racist from that era, and he has to, I think it's just an act. I think he's really trying, and it slips out in his older age and his dotage.
So he can't think about his words as much.
Yeah, like, and honestly, like, that's a whole other topic too, is mental stability. It's
his mental state's fucked.
He's younger than my grandfather before my grandfather died at 86. My grandfather was far more mentally sound.
So, well, Biden, he actually shows like quite a few symptoms of dementia.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You ever seen him walk? You know the little shuffle that he fucking does that is a dementia symptom. Not all old people walk like that.
No,
like
my grandfather played golf in his 80s.
Exactly. And like
Bernie Sanders, he plays basketball.
Bernie Sanders has the normal, stereotypical walk of a healthy old person. Like, he's not moving as fast. He'll get there eventually. And
think about it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, too. Okay, one of the things I hate, too, is that, I promise, I don't support Biden. I'm defending him. It seems like I'm defending him a lot right now. I don't support him. But, I don't like that Trump likes to run on Biden the fact of, age. They're only 5 years apart. They're both old as fuck.
Yeah.
But I will say that Trump's mental capacity is miles better. I have not seen, it's been 4 years since he's been president. I've seen no deterioration.
To be clear, I think even in their heyday, I think generally speaking, despite their age, Trump and Biden are actually fairly unintelligent.
Most politicians are. Most wealthy people are. Let's be real about that.
Yeah.
If you grew up, there's a specific type.
And I think age has been really quickly. I just think that age has been really unfavorable to Biden. I think he probably has some form of dementia.
Well, 100%. Either way, though, I mean that it doesn't put them on an equal pedestal. Like, someone with dementia should not have access to nuclear weapon codes. Think about it. If we have a nuclear strike, oh my God, it's gonna take. He's gonna be picking it up, dialing with one finger, squinting. He might have to have someone else do it.
Oh, so this is good. This is interesting. This is probably going to spark a massive debate.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
I'm probably going to vote for Biden. I'm probably going to vote for Biden despite his dementia riddle.
All right. I need to know why. I must know why.
I can explain. Let me explain.
Run it. What's in your fucking mind?
Biden, let me.
I'm not surprised, but why what's going on in your head?
So, Adam, you heard what I just said?
I'm not surprised, Billy. You are the definition of falling for it.
Hold on. I'm not falling for anything.
You are.
I don't like Biden. I didn't like him when he was mentally sound.
Billy, that doesn't help your cause. You're just
don't like him in a hat.
Let him talk.
I don't like him with a cat. All right? I do not like Joe Biden.
So then why?
Yeah. No, why am I still voting for him? I'll be honest. He has surrounded himself with... Excellent.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Just a little bit.
Billy, as you were saying.
Yes. We remember... editing. We don't even have to. But anyway, well, whatever.
We'll figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, where was I?
Yes.
He surrounded himself with at least somewhat reasonably minded people. I still disagree with a lot of what Biden thinks and does, and I hate a lot of it. But when it's either him or Trump right now, and frankly, even though he has dementia.
Who has he surrounded himself with that is even good? I know a lot of Biden's administration, and all of them are worse than he is at his prime. Kamala Harris, oh my God.
I don't like Kamala Harris either.
Well, that's a very important surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
I mean, she's VP. Yeah.
Fundamentally, here's the thing. at least I'm not really worried. You mentioned things like, what if there's a nuclear thing? What if there's a total disaster and he's like asleep? He's Sleepy Joe, so to speak, right? He's Dementia Joe, whatever you wanna call it. He could be, frankly speaking, he could be dead. Yeah. And his administration, like, they have people, they would just, you know what I mean? Like, they would just take the mantle.
I will say, too, yeah, there is still a lot of checks and balances here. Like, he doesn't just have a fucking button in his room with, like, a bunch of launch codes. Like,
no,
he's not the determining factor.
It goes to, we have a chain of command that has to get followed. But
yeah.
it still has to come
he doesn't
from him.
have...
It's his job. Billy, if I had a job, right, and in order for me to do my job, I needed like 10 other people to handle all of my day-to-day activities, I don't deserve the job.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. But this is a desperate case that calls for desperate circumstances.
It is not desperate because Trump ain't that bad.
Yes, he is.
No.
Yes, he is. He's quite a bit worse in my assessment.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
No. Okay, look, I hate both of them.
This is gonna be great.
I hate both of them. All right, but if I had to scale my hatred on both of them, Trump is a 7, Biden's an 11. All right, Biden is economically, his policies are horrific. Our economy speaks volumes. All right, today, right now, if you live on your own and you're trying to make it right now, oh my God, is it bad? We have no hope buying a house. No, at least under Trump, the economy was a little bit better. It was a little bit better. Like, the only downside of Trump was it was harder to get computer parts because of the tariffs we do in China.
In my assessment, I think Trump had inherited the fastest growing economy in United States history.
No, fucking Obama, dude. We grew up in low income housing. Okay, I remember going from the Bush to the Obama administration. All right, see, this is a thing that people tend to muddle. People think that a president inherits the economy before it.
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
But you change that, but that is not true because you change the economy overnight. Like, you don't know how, if you say that, you don't know how the stock market works. Did you know, for example, I can literally tweet something, Elon Musk knows this very well, and affect stock prices very quickly. You sign a tariff, prices go up and down immediately.
Yeah.
What Obama had in his last year was a mediocre economy. Enter Trump. Economy does go up almost immediately after he fucking takes office.
It was going up during the entirety of Obama's term.
Let me ask this.
Coincidence? When I say up, I mean certain metrics,
it's not a
coincidence or correlation?
Correlation.
Well, okay, well then how can you back that? Like, okay, the economy went up. Why?
Why?
It went up because of what Trump did for our trade agreements.
Which was what?
Tariffs was a big part of it. Upping taxes on incoming goods.
Think that
incoming goods, things were taxed on.
Probably just made things slightly more expensive, but it did helped some American industries.
It helped our gas prices skyrocket. Like, our gas prices went down exponentially.
Well, there was actually
gas prices, mortgages, interest rates.
That had nothing to do with who was president. That had to do because Saudi Arabia started expanded their drilling more, and in turn Russia also expanded their drilling.
You don't think? Well, we don't get our oil from Russia. We never have. Most of our oil comes from Canada.
But like the world, so the global price, Russia's oil production affects global prices. So,
hold on.
As much as true.
Yeah.
But have you ever heard of the petrodollar? All oil in the world is sold in U.S. currency. That's where the value of our dollar comes from. Trump, using our military and his economic experience, was able to affect the petrodollar. You don't think we have an effect with Saudi Arabia? We invest in them heavily. We give them money for drilling, especially Trump. Trump, I will say, it's one of the love-hate things I had about him. He was kind of a slut for Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure if he gave them money. He sold weapons to them.
And when they do that, it helps them.
Yeah,
He-
helps them a lot. Yeah,
Like
I
there's
mean,
correlation.
helps us.
It's not
We get
coincidence.
money.
Most of the time, it's only the first year that you can say that any benefits you
By the
had
way,
are from the person before.
they
you.
use those weapons to
We use our
some would
weapons-
arguably commit a genocide on Yemen. So
I mean, yeah. Now Yemen's
They're-
firing their guns at our boats. Fuck them.
I
They
mean that's
shot at our
I'm not
boats, you know?
sure who. I'm not sure what faction that is. There's different factions here. So like
I'm aware, but fuck them. I'm not. I'm an American. I don't care about gold. My like one thing I love and I hate about this country is our foreign policy is give it here. Because in order for us to have this lifestyle, it requires modern imperialism. Like that's what made the British Empire great. It's what makes every empire great.
to a certain extent, I think
And we do it.
a lot of it is mostly for the wealthy. I see a lot of the
We don't really
imperialism.
benefit as much. That is
The
a
benefits
problem.
go to the top. Yeah.
For sure, but like under Trump's economy, it did. I will say this is from my understanding and from a lot of the research I've done over the years, and it's how I criticize every president. When a president takes over, they're not responsible for that first year basically. Anything after that though, it's
on them.
It's on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So Trump inherited that first year. The economy was okay, but the economy went up continuously. Things that did.
Yes.
I'll give some give and take.
True. The
Things
economy did go up under Trump.
And
You're right.
And my opinion, if I'm going to get into a conspiracy theory here, I kind of think that they really because they were saying this really weird. COVID was weird. COVID was fucking weird.
COVID fucked everything up.
COVID fucked a
Fucked
lot.
up the world. I don't think we need to say that, but yeah.
I personally think that it was released on purpose. Like, what are the chances that a virus would be released, would be first found in a city where there happened to be a COVID research center? Happened to be. I don't believe in coincidences like that. All right.
That is one
Major-
idea.
All right.
Major
But
thing.
I think they did a genetic study on COVID,
Oh, yeah.
and
That is a-
I think
but
they
you know
didn't
how-
they
big idea.
conclude that
But
it
you know how
came
rare-
from an animal.
But you know how it came from multiple animals.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. You know how hard it is for a virus to jump one species, let alone 3? It made 3 species jumps before it got to us. That AIDS was SIV, simian immune virus. It was SIV, and then allegedly monkey bit a human. There's just when it comes to trust in our government and the people in charge, I don't put it past them to do something like that because they benefited from it heavily. We got fucked, but COVID caused a billionaire a day, created a billionaire a day during COVID. The amount of wealth that they took from the working class, that was the death of the middle class, was COVID. Like, the amount of wealth that was taken from the rest of us and funneled to the top was unheard of.
Yeah,
A billionaire a day.
a lot of people I'm not.
We-
Is it a billionaire a day?
We damn near double the amount of billionaires.
I
we
know.
had.
I do know that the wealthy increased their wealth dramatically under COVID, which is stupid. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah, that means they're incentivized to do fucked up shit. And I you know how we've talked before about your optimism and our politicians, and
Yes.
I don't believe they deserve that. Even if I'm wrong, I'd rather think this than
I'm not. When I say I'm an optimist, just so you just
No,
just to make it
I know what
clear.
you think, but what I'm calling you is I'm saying that you're too you turn a blind eye to
No,
stuff like this. Like,
I-
that's unlikely. Why would they do? No, it's more likely
I'm just
than not.
I'm just trying to. When I say I'm an optimist, let's just be clear. I'm talking about like I'm an optimist for I believe things will get better. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like so and so is good or so and so means well. No, I do believe that a lot of people are bad meaning. But when it comes to something like what caused the coronavirus, that
That
requires,
is a big, yeah. It's a
that-
big idea. Like
Yeah.
I will say, Adam, you are saying like
that they're
Like
criminals.
you're literally saying like I don't believe in coincidences like that.
I do believe in some coincidences, but that one is an immaculate kick you in
what?
the nuts
Okay,
coincidence.
well, what other evidence is there besides there was a fucking
Well,
because it's not
so-
like that was the only COVID center in the fucking
Let
world,
me ask
right?
you this. I'll answer your question with another question. We've convicted murderers on nothing more than motive alone. Why do they get special treatment? We've convicted murderers with no evidence, no body, just motive.
But
If that's
such
ever
a-
happened,
that is such
those are
a smaller
shams.
scale.
Those
You're,
happen.
you're saying that we had a global pandemic, like
It's
just
smaller
fucking,
scale because the person, like me, if I got convicted of murder with no body, just circumstance, that's smaller and there's actually less plausible. Like I should have more plausible deniability. But remember how we were talking about earlier about the boys, and you're like, with all that power,
Right.
with greater power, they can do even bigger things, and that is something right up their alley, right up something they can do. They have the technology, they have the ability to distribute it, they have the incentive to do so. I'd say because it's bigger, it actually makes it more plausible in this regard, because they have the amount of power they do, because they have the resources and the technology to do these things, and then the incentive on top of that. The unlikelihood that a virus would make 3 species jumps in a week to get to humans is incredibly unlikely. Even if you're especially if you consider how long
Wait, you said 3 species jumped in a week.
it took, like a week for that shit from the.
So where is that coming from then?
It was
you remember?
stuff they talked about in the news during all that. It was like it jumped from what was it? It was like a bat.
They said bats.
to
I remember just bats. The story I remember. I don't remember fucking jumping
there was
once.
a pangolin involved in that too.
The story I remember was literally just like, because I heard this during COVID. I don't know how true this is, but it was literally just some dude in China had like fucking bat soup or something.
No, that ain't how that went. It went from like bat to pangolin to pig or something like that to human. Or pangolin to bat to pig or I'm not even sure if the pig was involved. There was another species, but it was pangolin and bat for sure. But like to make those species jumps is incredibly rare in nature. That doesn't just happen typically. Like look how closely we are related.
Never heard of what's a pangolin?
It's like a bird, right?
A ping.
I thought, yeah, isn't it like a? They're like penguins, but they fly, right? Something like that.
No,
Is it even a bird?
A pangolin is like an anteater looking.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like an armadillo. It's like an armadillo anteater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A pangolin was involved in that as species jumps don't just happen like that. Realistically, in nature, they can. It's so
Have they happened?
Not like that. Like the only one that has happened in recent history was HIV. But even that has conjecture about it because a lot of people believe that was weaponized in the United States and released to the public. A lot of people don't really believe in the fact that made an organic species jump. It could have, and it's more plausible than COVID because it only jumped from one near-like species, a
Right.
monkey, to a human.
That's a lot more plausible.
lot more plausible than going from bat to pangolin to human.
But still, it's like, I honestly do believe like
and in the same
what strange things happen.
but in
Okay,
the same city where there happened to be a disease research center.
that's not the only place that has those.
I mean,
like,
but what
it's
are
not-
when you take everything by itself, of course. But when you compile it all into one, 3 species jump in a town with like
When it comes to something like that, like I can't emphasize enough. This is a global pandemic, okay? I honestly have to give a lot of like benefit of the fucking doubt here, especially when it's like it's just that's something so fucking like this is just
Well,
so fucking large.
Like exactly. But that means that you believe that they are not capable of great evil like that. Where I thoroughly believe that's just the tip of the iceberg as to what they do or are willing to do. That they are far more malevolent than that most people tend to realize. They are very ambitious and evil. I genuinely believe that they are.
I guess maybe I missed this point as well. Like first, okay, I guess I have 2 questions. which kind of go together, which is what incentive do they have to do that? And also, how do they know what the outcome of the pandemic would be?
So we've been testing coronaviruses since the 60s.
I know it's been... Well, there's been different COVIDs. Like, there's been ones before 19.
Coronavirus specifically just means a virus in that shape. It's the...
Yeah.
Not the
Like,
diamond
yeah,
little spider thing.
The COVID, like, gene, whatever, has been a thing since before 19. Yes.
Yeah, we've been doing tests with coronaviruses since the 1960s, COVID since the 1990s. So we've had the technology to do that. We knew that virus well, and like for them, there wasn't a lot of guessing. They kind of knew it. Like, look how it came out. I mean, if you want to be realistic, looking at stats, looking at the way the virus actually is, it was nothing more than a flu. But they used it to great advantage, and the incentive, they got extremely wealthy. They basically killed the middle class in 2020. It's gone. Like you, me, Billy, we have no chance of buying a house in this economy. We have these billionaires are far more wealthy than they were. Like before COVID, like most of the higher billionaires were, 100 bill. Now most of them are pushing like 600 billion. Like,
I see what you're saying, and that's true. The wealthy, the people that are already wealthy, their wealth increased pretty dramatically under COVID. However, generally speaking, like economically, it did set back and stifle economic growth across the globe.
But they don't care about that. It's not about economic growth across the
well,
globe.
Governments care about that, just to a large extent.
No. What they actually care about, I remember they're human. They care about their station alone, what is in their bank. They don't care about economic growth if they're already sitting at the top. As far as they're concerned, the economy can idle right where it's at, and they're happy about it.
I'm saying
they have the money to just hang out. They can eat They have so much money they couldn't even spend it before they die.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like for them, the economy can idle right where it's at. As long as it doesn't crash, they're fine. And they knew the economy wasn't going to crash. And they would just maybe drop that in the news to scare us, so we buy more and spend more money, because that's what happens with Americans. When we freak out, we purchase. And when it comes to across borders, they don't care about that. That's why they probably started in China too. So that way they can blame it on them. Plausible deniability.
So I guess here's another thing. It's just are you saying that America did that? Like, I guess.
I mean,
because this had to start on like a small level. Like, someone had to be the first one to say, "Hey, let's do this whole COVID thing." Where did it start then?
On the highest up.
Okay, where?
American wealthy people. Like what you would call...
So how the fuck does that get back there?
Because that COVID research center is owned by America. We own a lot of shit in China.
See, that could have helped your argument a lot.
Oh, I thought you guys knew that.
No.
To me, that's common knowledge. I like most people, that was like they were talking about. So that's an umbrella company owned by an American. Like it's operated by like CDC officials. Like that's an American company.
All right.
We own a lot, just like Apple companies are out there.
I'm still not gonna say it was fucking. I'm still not gonna say that they did it, but that does help you a lot.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. The Chinese government has their paws in that, but like we can do things under their nose, and also affecting it over there. In our people's eyes, in our government's eyes, their competition. Why do we care if we start it over there? We know it's going to get back over here eventually, but why not start it over there so we get it all across the world? Because China's not going to be able to lock that down real fast. You know that you're probably going to thin some of their numbers a little bit too. And then there's the other part that it could also be that at the end of the day, there's wealthy people across the world that also could have been in on it. It may be that like a lot of the wealthy people across the world are also a part of the, like not all of them, but a good amount of them are a part of the same.
So
clique.
Okay, they're not owned by the United States. They've collaborated with the United States.
It's an umbrella company of a United States company, though.
No,
yeah,
it's not even a company, dude. It's a research institute administered by the Chinese Academy of Sciences.
Okay, I call colleges companies.
All right.
You got to remember that colleges are companies at the end of the day.
Even state-run colleges,
They make money, don't they?
they do.
There we go. It's a fucking business.
Well, they
It's
shouldn't do it like that.
but they
like,
do. It's a
yeah.
business.
Um,
It's an American business. Just happens to be working for the government, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Which makes it even does not help the cause very much.
So there's two from the. I was doing some very surface level research. There's two ideas. We don't know where the virus came from. It could be a lab leak. And if it was,
Honestly,
it was almost certainly accidental.
I'll say
that-
that might be the most likely thing, especially if you're saying it started at a COVID research center. They have to have the virus in that center to fucking research it.
Then accidental leak, right there, that phrasing. Why the plausible deniability?
Because
Because it's
why
a
the fuck would
global
they want to
pandemic.
do it?
Because they benefit
okay,
from
you're saying
it.
you're
How
saying
would they?
want
How
money,
do,
right?
Are you sure? How would they even know that they would benefit from
Because
it? How
they're
did
not-
they, like,
That's what I'm saying.
Anybody with a clout of fucking economic knowledge knows that they would benefit from it. Okay,
Well, can you explain it then?
All right. Lockdown. You get people inside. They're not going to work. They're not making money. All right. Companies are still able to make money though without their employees, so they're no longer paying employees. Pocketing cash. Now, when you're at home, what are you doing? Buying shit. Most people cope with their depression by going on Amazon purchasing stuff. Most people know that they're going to, that's why Disney Plus blew up during COVID. Disney Plus was like staggering before COVID. All of a sudden, COVID happened, and
I didn't even know it was a thing before COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot of things blew up during COVID. NFTs, cryptocurrencies blew up because people were investing in the stock market.
Well, again, that is the rich though.
Yeah,
Fucking.
They were the ones benefiting, and they knew they were going to be benefiting. NFTs were marketed to dumb people.
Oh yeah, well NFTs are fucking dumb.
Yeah. It's digital art that you can trade on the blockchain.
Just straight up cryptocurrency has more fucking.
like it's still like the vast majority of these billionaires are not entangled in any of this. I'm freaking I am baffled. I actually don't know how. I need to research
So
that.
you're
How
saying-
the fuck did they get more money? Because they did
Are
get
you implying
drastically
there's
more
like a secret
wealthy.
society?
Oh, I believe that thoroughly. So, and it's not even that crazy when you think about it. People organize into groups. It's what we do. All right. You don't need a formal conspiracy where interests converge. When you have like-minded people with like interests, you have a fraternity. We have fraternities at colleges. We have groups of people. Like when you look at Yale, you have the Skull and Bone Society. Bush was a part of it. Almost every president was a part of that fraternity. Freemasonry. Those are wealthy people who work for each other's benefits. I almost put myself into a Freemason lodge when I was out west, just so I can be a part of and have that kind of advantage, because it's always who you know in this world. When you are a part of a lodge like that, it's always like, hey, I hear you do this. You want to work at my company? Or, hey, I have a friend who owns this company. I can get you in over there.
Right.
It creates a fraternity. Now, George Washington was a Freemason. It's why we have Freemason art on our dollar bills. The all-seeing eye, that's Freemasonry stuff.
I guess this is showing my knowledge. What is Freemason?
Freemasonry is a fraternity. There's different degrees. The one that's most prominent in America is the 32nd division of the Freemason Society, but so the Illuminati was a real thing. It was a real thing.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
It officially ended in the 1700s, about 1777. Coincidence? I think not.
What do you mean coincidence on when it ended?
America's founding.
1777.
Okay.
There's some weird shit that was going on back then.
Okay.
There was some weird shit that was going on back then.
And almost none of it is documented.
Yeah.
So I'll give a lot more merit to that shit.
So,
But now everything is documented now. You can't walk down the street without there being a fucking camera.
yeah.
So
But like today, Freemasonry, all it is it's a fraternity of wealth. Now there's conspiracy theories going far in either direction that all they are is a bunch of dudes who meet up, play with swords, and drink beer, and then it goes all the way to the other end that they sacrifice children and pray to an owl. So really, it depends where the fuck you
See,
look.
that sounds like kooky nonsense.
Until you think
But
about
you are-
Now,
Estes Island.
it's
I
not
was saying-
impossible. A lot of cult-like shit happens with these.
Oh, they are very
Weird
culty
group
in and of their
things.
nature. Now, it sounds crazy, but then Epstein's Island, like, that seemed crazy 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now it's a fact. So, where I fall on that, I'm not going to go as far as to say that they do actually meet up every year and worship under an owl called Bohemian Grove.
Wait, who does?
Freemasonry. Freemasons. There's a division of them. Presidents go there. They're invited to go there, and they do. It's called Bohemian Grove. It's in California. There's an owl there that they'll all meet there in cloaks and worship this owl. It's really weird, but they get really culty. What they do, and like some say they just worship the owl and have an orgy, but it's very
All right.
they're very wealthy individuals who have like interests. Even if you don't mix all of that the crazy shit into there, they work together because they have no reason to not. They benefit from each other. Sony and Microsoft benefit from each other. Their console wars, Apple and Samsung
True.
benefit from each other. They've boiled down. They learn that they don't need monopolies when you can actually make more money with two choices.
That's kind of T-Series and PewDiePie. Remember how that whole thing?
Yep.
Both of them grew substantially.
Yeah.
Like, just because there was a lot of competition.
Yeah, it's like look at the NFL. You have the NFC and the AFC. You have fucking, like when you boil things down to two. See, when you have one, people get mad, but when you have two, people pick sides. It's psychology. They're very good at manipulating us. See, a lot of people think that we just got here, that it was sloppy. A lot of this was thought out. The system we have now was put in place by people who knew what they were doing. This isn't like, oh, this sucks for everybody. No, this only sucks for us. What we have now is brutal, sadistic, unprobable capitalism if you're at the bottom, and cushy socialism if you're at the top.
Yeah.
If you're an elite, you are good for...
Well, because there's this other saying. It kind of maybe goes hand in hand with that saying. When it comes to corporations and like the rich people that benefit off of those corporations, or massively benefit off of those corporations, they socialize, they privatize the gains and socialize the losses. Mm-hmm. It's like the government will bail you out if you go bankrupt. Oh, this happens.
I
if you
can't let
need
my friend go
help.
bankrupt.
Uh-huh.
Well, I can't let my friend go bankrupt. He just put money in my account last year because I passed a law for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of this has been planned out. This isn't by accident. This isn't sloppy chaos that got us here. This is methodical planning. This is what they wanted.
See what I just said. I feel like we need to get a guest who's ultra conservative. That's like, no, it's not like that whatsoever. We need like someone, because we kind of like really quickly right now. Like that saying, like I've observed from what I see from my viewpoint, it's very true. I feel like that is very much the case a lot of the times, especially for really big companies. What do you guys feel on that? You guys
About what?
socializing the losses and privatizing the gains. It's like when the company makes money,
We don't see any of it.
Yeah, well, it's like
This is a great. I got one. I got an example that will cover exactly what you're thinking. So the COVID vaccine, Pfizer. We'll use them as an example. They made a lot of money on the vaccine that we paid for.
Yes.
But if they went bankrupt, we would pay for them to get out of bankruptcy.
exactly. So like and all the money, so they get to keep that money.
Yep.
They
But
get to privatize the gains, so they get to sell the vaccine, make tons and tons and tons. By the way, like it was free, but that's because the government
Used
paying
our
it.
tax dollars.
Exactly. So we're paying for it.
It wasn't actually free.
Exactly. The government gave them money to develop the vaccine, and then paid them again for reimbursed them for every free vaccine they gave out. So they're making money. They made money hands over fist.
Yeah, and
but if they went bankrupt, we'd be like, oh, they would sign a bill bailing them out easily.
Yep, it comes out of
Yeah.
our money, our pockets again.
That's unfair. if you're gonna play the game, there should be actual risk reward. That's the thing with Wall Street. Wall Street, the reason they caused to a large extent the financial collapse in 2008.
And the housing market collapsed in 2005.
Yeah, but they didn't care because they knew the government would bail them out when it all went bad. So they made money hands over fist while the bubble was building, and then when it burst,
so what they call that back then?
They got bailed out.
It's called the movie. There's a movie that talks about exactly what he's talking about. It's called The Big Short. What they did was they basically shorted a bunch of guys on Wall Street, saw a discrepancy in the loans, pushed for those loans to be given out more,
yes,
and then basically caused all these loans to get collapsed on where they would benefit. So every person that lost their house, they would see their bank account go up. They basically
because they were betting on those houses to fail. Yeah. So they benefited. They knew these people. Basically, they realized these.
And when you're betting when you're betting on something to fail, you're actually making it more likely. The more money you pour into that bet, the more likely it is going to fail because now it's incentivized for the banks to do so.
Oh, also a lot of people it's weird how that stuff works, and I don't fully understand all of it, but I understand enough of it to understand that here's the thing: if you're playing with this kind of fire, at the bare minimum, if you're taking a risk, it should be a proper risk. It's not a risk if the risk part of it is gone. You know what I mean? If I'm taking a bet and I could gain money or I could lose money. Wait a minute, but if I lose money, I got someone who will just give me that money back.
You can't actually lose money.
Exactly. It's no, that's not how it should work. If I'm able to gain money, I should be able to lose money as well. But that's not how it works for a lot of corporations.
And then there's another part when it comes to rich people too. A lot of them are very delusional. They don't see anything wrong with what they do. With The Big Short, they didn't feel bad at all. That was part of the movie. That was when I watched that movie, dude, I ended up homeless because of all that shit. So when I watched that movie, in 2020, it came out in 2015. When I watched that movie, and it basically was that was the flip side of the other side of my life, what actually caused all that shit. Oh, I got mad.
Well, they're so out of touch. They're not even people at that point.
No, they're not, and that's why I hate people in these positions of power. Is that a lot of them lost their humanity. Have you ever seen the Shark or whatever, the Shark Tank?
Oh yeah.
So there's a guy on there. There's a couple of them that I really fucking hate. That bald dude, I can't stand him.
Mr. Wonderful. He ain't so fucking wonderful.
No, he's not. He's actually a giant fucking prick.
Oh, he's the biggest prick on that show, yeah.
But then there's the other guy, the one with the black hair and the tan face, kind of looks like an Italian.
I know Mark Cuban.
Okay, so
I love Mark Cuban.
There's kind of two guys that have dark hair and tan.
He's older.
I think Mark Cuban then, because the other one's younger looking. Show us a picture of
Mark Cuban.
Look up Mark Cuban.
That's Mark Cuban.
Okay, so you're talking.
What's wrong with Mark
Cuban?
Okay, I saw an interview with him. He was
he did have one cringe interview, yeah.
Okay.
I remember
one
that.
cringe. Okay, this is beyond cringe. Someone asked him, okay, since you're such a capitalist, if you had nothing, not a penny to your name and none of the connections that you have, you were living a different life in a different body, all right, and all you had was a cell phone, how would you get back to the wealth you have today? And he goes, oh, that's super easy. All right. And what I would do is I would go into sales and I would learn that product really well and I would get so good at sales and then I would make myself indispensable to that company over the course of a couple of years. And then I would go to my boss and tell him...
From no money?
From no money.
From no money?
Oh,
from no money, you're going to go into sales.
Delusional. How are you going to shower, bud?
I know. Also,
you need a car.
Most companies, they don't work like that. If you start from the bottom of a company, there is
no chance.
Fucking chance you're going all the way to the top, dude.
Yeah.
They don't.
I think what he was thinking.
You need
he wasn't
connections.
even thinking Like, because when we say no money, we mean like no money, like homeless, no assets
You're on
type
the
shit.
streets,
On
like-
the streets. What he was probably thinking was like middle class.
Yeah,
that's what no money means to that motherfucker.
Yeah,
man.
they're so
Yeah.
he's so out of touch that these people don't even understand what poverty
And to be
is.
fair, here's the thing with Mark Cuban. I've also seen some interviews that are where he's very humble, and he admits. There was this one interview. What was it? Fuck, I'm trying to remember. He admitted that he was wrong on something, and that because he's a very big ultra, like he believes he's a big capitalist guy, right? And he believes heavily in the free market. But there was this one instance where he actually thought like, no, this is where we need regulation. And he admitted it. He's like, look, I love the idea of like a market that is truly free, but we got to do what works. And right now, in this one instance, he admitted for this one particular instance, we need. I think they were talking about Wall Street or something.
I knew what that was.
I think he admitted that there should be. Oh, I think it was that these hedge. Was he talking about the hedge fund people?
I don't know.
And or was it hedge funds or the people who lost a bunch? Was it the GameStop incident where like a bunch of hedge funds were losing money because remember the GameStop stock?
I know the
incident?
GameStop thing.
But get to the point.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was. I forget what it was. I don't even know if it was that. So honestly, I shouldn't even talk on it too much. Really quickly, I do want to mention something for the audience and for conservatives who might be listening who are fucking blew their brains out. All right.
Man, you just talked for 3 minutes and didn't say anything.
What the? Of course I did.
No, you were just trying to recall an event and then you crashed into a wall and went another direction.
No, I mentioned there was an instance where Mark Cuban, I don't fully remember it, but it was like, it was not cringe.
He admitted he was wrong, is the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was not cringe. He had some cringe, and there's not cringe.
Billy,
Mixed bag.
A lot of people, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but I think most people do admit they're wrong. Well, I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
Like, it happens.
It happens. It's not unheard of.
I will say,
Not
okay,
unheard of.
Back
right?
when people started businesses in garages, man. Well, like, look at my place. I don't even have a garage.
Yeah.
That's funny. But really quickly, when
joke.
we're talking about the housing, the financial collapse of 2008, the government did bail out Wall Street, but my understanding actually is those loans the government gave are to be paid back with interest. Now, here's the thing. Despite that, my counter argument to that, they still made a ton of fucking money. And that financial collapse, while they recovered just fine, despite having to pay back those loans, and they're making money hands over fists, it crippled the middle class and the poor in this country. The working people of this country, I remember, we lost our house because of that.
Yep.
A
lot of people did, dude. When you
we
watch
used
that
to
movie,
remember we used to live in Street.
Oh, I mean, I knew back then. I was in the 3rd grade with Margie, and I barely.
Yeah, when Margie was in 3rd grade, we lived in Street. You probably never saw us there.
No, me and her weren't tight friends yet. We didn't really become friends until 6th grade when you guys moved into the.
Right.
And it was like, I remember you. What happened to you? I went homeless. I went homeless too.
Yeah, seriously. We at one point we moved to Hartford. It was a place called My Sister's Place.
Oh yeah, that place is always on the news too because of the shit going on near
Oh
it.
god damn.
Dude,
man.
fucking around that
so
time.
glad we got out of there. Holy
Around that
shit.
time, me and my family, we slept in cars. We slept in the Bristol homeless shelter, the New Britain homeless shelter. Like we were.
You guys had it rougher than we did for sure. Because we jumped around too, but it was better. We jumped around. It was like we lived with some family in New York for a bit.
Yeah, I
instance.
remember
We
Margie
jumped
saying
around
about
there,
that. Yeah.
We moved to. Now that was different. We did move to Puerto Rico, but that was before we lost the house. New York was after we lost the house, and before we moved in my sister's place, which was like basically a homeless shelter / apartment.
They have something like that over, literally like right around the corner.
All right. Also, I gotta interrupt real quick. So let's just make sure we don't say where we live.
Good fucking point.
We
just doxed ourselves.
No,
pretty heavily.
no, we didn't. All right, we were saying a lot of places. I mean, it's fine. It's fine for people to know that we're in Connecticut. Let's just maybe not say, like.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I just keep going. I just had to interrupt with that because that's
right.
an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry about that, but yeah.
Yeah, we've moved up in the world anyway.
And by the way, we don't live anywhere near. I don't live anywhere near that location anymore. So
Yeah, that was years ago. That's
Yeah, it was
Hartford. But
many
I'm
years
just saying,
ago,
yeah,
yeah.
you can say where we used to be. Just let's not
there
make sure
go,
you don't
yeah.
say where we are now.
Don't say where you are. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't say where we are now.
Yeah.
if you're gonna send death threats and possibly anthrax my way, I live in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I live at 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. That's I can't say that. I can't say that.
Wait, you can?
Well,
You can't lie about where you live. Like?
well, no. Okay, I just said to send anthrax to the White House.
Well, it wasn't you. It'd be some fucker.
No, we were just giving them a false address. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, fucking.
Yeah.
So a lot of my views, like I have like homelessness when I was younger. A lot of that shit, like I have and plus my family history. Like the government has not treated my family well. Like the times that we've been drafted to go to war, like with my second cousin went to Vietnam. They
Shit, really?
Oh yeah, they didn't even embalm his body. Stuffed him in a crate and sent him back home after he was killed. And then they said he died of a asthma attack. Which, if he had asthma, why should you take him?
Exactly.
And then, but the weird thing was he had a bullet hole in the back of his head. So my family in general, we just have a very they are almost my arch nemesis in a lot of factors. They are responsible for a lot of the horrific things that's happened in my life and in my family's life. And I see that they have. It's hard for me to not see the evil, and I cannot justify giving them yeah, I can't see. I have to. Anytime there's a place for plausible deniability, I can't give it to them. Like I can't. Like it's not. It's,
To who?
To the government, Wall Street, CEOs.
Understandable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like to me, when you have that amount of power, you should be held to a higher standard. And if we're convicting homeless dudes or working class people with nothing more than circumstantial evidence for murder, then fuck you. You get less than that. You get it looks like you might not have done it, but you did it.
By the way, I think those cases you're talking about are like cases of severe injustice. And
Would you not?
Where our justice system fails.
Well, hold on.
I think
Hold on.
our justice system definitely needs to be better, but I think it's rare it fucks up that badly.
It's not a fuck up. In fact, usually in those circumstantial cases, usually the dude did it. To be honest, it's just very skilled at getting rid of the body.
I mean, okay.
Not so much in the 60s,
Statistically
70s, 80s. I'm
speaking-
talking about modern times.
Yeah, but statistically speaking, I guess you could say, yeah, most people that get charged are guilty. Yes. Statistically speaking. But,
Well, there's a difference between charged and convicted.
I know. Yeah, most people that get charged are convicted, and the most convicted people are guilty.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and that's kind of the thing. Like with these people, like when we were talking about COVID just now, and how I thoroughly believe that they did infect the population with that on purpose to benefit, and that not only that, but I believe that has been a plan for a long time, because they've talked about like in 2018. Fauci said he's like Trump is going to have to deal with a major pandemic in his.
Fauci said that.
Yep,
When was this?
like 2017, 2018.
Well, we were long overdue for that.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
But coincidence, Billy.
Hold on. It's not so crazy when you think about a lot of scientists were saying we were long overdue for something like this to happen.
Okay, but all right.
The odds were something
Billy,
like
The
this
odds
was
of
gonna
saying
happen.
that.
Billy.
Okay, well, here's the thing, right? Because I know what you're trying to say, right? Because look at every 100 years, right? about the pandemic thing, right?
We're also long
Like-
overdue for a major war. Like, but
But nobody's
It's a bit
saying.
different.
All right. Well, actually, I mean, I won't say.
Billy-
World War III is getting more likely every day.
But here's the thing about that, though. Billy, this is my thing with you that when we have every discussion, it's like if I bring up a point, you'll give plausible deniability to that specific point. But I don't think that when I combined all these things as a whole, that you see it. Like,
Well, because
it's
here's
as
the
a-
thing. Here's the thing. There's if I view, and during this is my viewpoint, as each point as like, oh, it could be this or this.
Okay.
Each and every point, then as a whole, it's weak.
Okay,
So
but-
here,
the
let
way I
me
see it.
let me do this. All right, let me do this. Let me try and because I get where you're coming from, right? So let me say this. Say like, because every single point that you've made, we're kind of just like, okay, let's go deeper on this like one thing about it, and let's try to like debunk that. So, like, because you're saying that, okay, the COVID Research Center was where it started, right? Like, what am I trying to say? Just list everything that you think goes together and why you think that it was started like that. And we could talk about it afterwards, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, like, if you look at, like, yes, if you break apart each point individually, but the way you break it apart, you're like a fact checker on Facebook. You're like, well, really? But it's not that, though. It's when you look at each and every single one of these as a whole, it's a little dicey, in my opinion.
So I'm talking short bursts, right? Like
Oh,
COVID Center was in China. What else?
Yep.
Like
Fauci mentioning that Trump is likely going to have to deal with a major pandemic in his term. Weird coincidence.
All right.
The fact that the elite in this country benefited greatly from it, and that they were incentivized to do so. They likely didn't like Trump and used it as a great opportunity to get him out of office, to slander his career even further. Because up until COVID, Trump had overwhelming support from the masses. So and the media did not like him. I feel like the media does not like him.
Oh, the media.
I
hates Trump.
will say that.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
But
The media, I'd say that it's for the same reasons that people don't like Musk. See, a lot of people have a problem with Elon Musk, but Elon Musk doesn't do anything that any other billionaire doesn't do.
Well, hold on. Elon Musk, I used to like him.
But hold
He's
on.
turned into a cringy little
What makes him cringe?
goblin.
What makes him cringe?
The things he said. He has said some
Such as
wildly cringy shit.
Such
So, there's an interview he was doing, and he was talking about fucking, his Twitter, right? And so Twitter is having some issues, right? It's not.
no shit.
Yeah, no shit, no
Yeah.
shit.
I
Yeah,
actually like X where it is now. It reminds me of what it used to be.
maybe. Here's the thing. Fair, but it
right.
has some issues.
Such
okay.
as?
Such as it has money issues. A lot of advertisers, because the way he's running it, where it's not as advertiser friendly, they're left the platform. And here's the problem with that. And he's trying to do the Twitter Blue or X Blue,
X.
where you get the check mark. Oh, it costs money for the check
Yeah,
mark.
that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
That
it's
was
so stupid
ridiculous.
because that's such a small proportion of Twitter's or X's,
See,
X Twitter, whatever, of their earning. So statistically speaking, if it's $8 a month, is it $8 a month or $10 a month?
I got something to I got something to say about what you've just said. All right.
Okay.
The amount people pay for it is irrelevant. What the similarity? You see the similarity between Elon Musk and Trump after you said all that. It's that there is a conglomerate of rich people who want to censor views, who want to keep Elon Musk gets the reason why media and advertisement wants to keep people like Trump and Musk kind of silent is because they do what every other rich person does. They just do it openly. They and furthermore, like more specific to Elon Musk, is they want to keep. They don't like when the people are talking. When people have open conversations, they want to put their fact checkers in it.
I
They want-
disagree.
no, like
If you look, okay,
don't like seriously. Like the minute he's like, no, I'm not going to ban people for saying racist shit. They're like, Well, then we can't fucking put advertisements
Oh,
on your
come
thing.
on, yeah. What? Okay, really
It's called
quickly.
freedom of speech, dude.
I know. But what? The way I see it, I don't. The advertisers are leaving X. I don't blame them. You have some neo-Nazis, some fucking neo-Nazis on X, spouting some heinous shit, and no advertiser wants to get clipped where it's their heinous shit, and then in the corner, like, oh, Doritos.
As far as that goes, you guys are both right. Okay, I do believe that you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want and not get banned for it. But at the same time, I do think those advertisers have the right not to support that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I respect, in a way, I kind of respect that from Elon. I kind of respect that, but he wants to have his cake and eat it too. I hate that saying. It's such a dumb. If you have cake, of course you want to eat it. It's the whole point of cake. What do you want to just look at it?
I get you though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides the point.
Yeah, but anyway, he is greatly upset that everyone's leaving X. And in the interview, it was so cringe. They asked him, like, okay, so, like, you know, like, is this what's gonna happen? If the guy told him, like, you are wealthy enough, you could keep, the company's not making money, it's losing money, right?
Right.
But you are wealthy enough where you could sustain it
but
for a very long time.
Do you see the problem with it, though?
And
it's
well,
that
hold
what-
on, I didn't get to finish what I was saying.
It's
Really
that-
quickly, let me finish.
Well,
All
let me
right.
say this before you finish, because I'm going to lose it. It's
boy.
the problem
boy.
is what it boils down to is that companies are beginning to dictate what you and I say by threat of money. Like,
I get you already said that.
Like, you can't say what you're going to say on our platform because it disagrees with our company's views. So, like, I can stand outside McDonald's with the KKK sign. Not
Yeah,
that I would.
you-
But
Man.
okay.
But that doesn't
You
mean
have to
McDonald's can't kick you out
All right, get this right.
of their perimeter.
Not if I'm on public
You
property.
do. All right. think
Yeah,
about
if you're on
it.
public property,
you're-
there's nothing they can do.
You're about freedom of speech, okay?
Entirely.
Very obviously. So am I, right? Which is why I do think you have the right to say those things, but if you have a company that is financially supporting you, right? And you start doing things that they don't like, they have the right to disagree with those things. What does that mean? You lose their money.
That's it.
You just have to realign
Yeah.
yourself with other companies
Exactly.
who like your
So
opinion.
Elon wants
Yeah.
to have his cake and eat it too. He's really upset. He's really upset at these companies that are leaving Twitter. But it's like, dude, what are you?
Exactly.
It's
When you're
it's
completely,
like, dude,
when you're
what are you
completely changing
expecting?
everything.
Like,
exactly.
of course they're gonna leave your
course it's
platform.
gonna
You should have thought of this. And it's so cringe because he didn't think of this. He thought what he was thinking in his
No,
mind.
he did think of this. That's fundamentally false. He said in an interview, he's like, I'm not going to censor views to get money. If all you care about is money, fuck you. Like, he did say that in an interview. He's like, I'm looking at you, Bob. Fuck you. Like, he does not care.
I will say that because he does have the money to say things like that.
And
Like he Twitter is just one of his fucking assets. Like, he could completely lose it today and be fucking, like you said, he is not even able to spend all that money before he dies.
You know, true.
So-
also, before
Twitter could go completely under, and
he's
he'd
fine.
be fine.
Yeah.
And Twitter
You know.
beforehand really sucked. Really
Perhaps.
fucking sucked.
Perhaps.
Like you would get banned for just posting like the things he was getting rid of. I mean, the things they were getting rid of beforehand were like someone posting like real CDC information about COVID. But just because it happened to show that it's not as extreme as we're making it out to be, they're like, nope, that's insensitive, it's banned. Like, they would go, you weren't even allowed to say facts on Twitter unless it correlated to their view.
That's stupid.
And that's,
Yeah, they might have been. I've heard of instances where people got banned from Twitter off of things that's like.
If you just say
I
something
think
a little
they're-
controversial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Twitter, they
Republicans
might
would-
have been a bit too banned.
well, like Republicans would
Ban-
actually post their
ban
campaign updates, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be going here, here, and here," and then they would get banned for posting
Yeah,
that.
that's criminal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and that's kind of the thing. It's like you can't
Really?
have-
Wait,
Seriously.
politicians
I don't
got banned?
doubt it.
Politi-
I actually don't doubt it.
Politicians were getting banned for just posting campaign updates. Republicans
I-
specifically.
I-
Yeah,
Are
that was
you
happening.
sure?
100%. This wasn't.
I mean, think of media like it's
It was
it is
a big deal
undeniable.
when Trump got banned.
It is undeniable, and I think a lot of this is actually because of just the hatred for Trump. It's undeniable that right now mass media is extremely liberal. Like,
Oh yeah, I think
so I don't doubt that for a
I
second.
think it is pretty
Yeah.
liberal. Now, here's the thing, though. I do think, and I think there's data to back it up. There's a study done to back it up. A lot of what conservatives are claiming in terms of like they're getting unfairly targeted by the algorithms of these companies. There's a study that looked into it, and it's not as bad. It's not nearly as bad as what they're saying.
See,
the
that,
far
I think, is
left,
false.
the
Yeah.
far left also, by the way, gets targeted, and they get targeted more.
That is fundamentally false. Objectively false. That is not even
Well,
close
no,
to
okay.
true.
Well, when we compare far left and far right, I'm not. When I say far right, I'm not saying like like the KKK or neo Nazis.
No, I
don't.
mean-
I don't count them as far right.
No. I mean just your. Let's not even go
Nah,
far
that's being
left. Far.
generous
Let's
with
just
me.
do general left, general right, and like just overall, the right gets banned 100 times more than the left does.
That's in
Just how it is.
your
That is
experience.
that's undeniable, Billy. I'm sorry. Like
You're
like I saw the statistics one time. It
think
was
you-
like when you look at media, like I think you guys have probably heard this. When you look at media coverage, like Obama versus Biden or Obama versus Trump, right? It was like 60 or 70% positive for Obama his entire campaign, right? His entire 8 years, and for Trump it was like 80% negative. If you look at like these mass fucking like media companies, like all like everything on the news, like fucking television news. Yeah.
When it comes to that, when it comes to like the news media, that's a
social
completely
media
different
is
story.
no, it isn't. Social media
Social
and regular media correlate a lot.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Oh no, they don't.
Yeah, Facebook.
No, they don't.
Twitter, they were far left.
No, Twitter-
radical far left, if anything.
Facebook and Twitter, you get way more. A lot of the times, the news media completely disagrees with what's
No,
being
it-
said on
no.
Facebook and Twitter. A lot of the times.
Hold on. No, what mainstream media tends to disagree with is one of the things that Twitter and
let's be-
Facebook fight against.
No,
Which
okay.
hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to say my point. So, like, say there's a meme going around talking about COVID. All right, mainstream media will talk shit about that meme. We're like, oh, that's false news, and then Facebook and Twitter would fucking put fact checkers out and put labels on that. Like, no, this is false. The people share ideas on both platforms. What mainstream media is not fighting against, not fighting against social media. It's fighting against the people on social media, the people sharing the idea. But
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, and the mainstream media all have the same view. That's why Facebook and Twitter are like fact checkers and banning people.
Exactly, because when you have like, you ever notice like on like these very controversial topics, like if you go on YouTube, right, like because I've seen it specifically for COVID and for stuff on like 9/11. If you're posting a video
Whoa,
about
okay.
those well,
True.
no, just an example. If you're
True.
posting a video, they'll put like fucking articles and shit under the video,
Yes.
so you can like,
Yes.
like
And that makes sense.
you know,
But that's
Okay.
not healthy either, because what they're showing, it's like
they're showing is that our opinions are more valuable than whoever the fuck this is.
And
That's what that is.
And more than that, what there's like, what was going on? Like if you look at 9/11, right? A lot of probably a good percentage of what we were told was either lies or lies mixed or the truth mixed with lies. We were not told the entirety of the situation. I mean, and that's fact. There's a classified 28 pages of the 9/11 report that we the public are not allowed to view. It will eventually be declassified, but for the moment it's classified. And people theorize about what actually went on during 9/11. So when people post videos about, well, this and this doesn't make sense, they'll post like, oh no, so when they put these fact checks, it's like, no, we already told you, and all that they told you was lies anyway. So like, no, this is the truth. Don't worry about this. Worry about what we told you. It turns into this. It's like you're not allowed to think.
I value free expression. I truly do. However, again, this comes back to it comes back to advertisers. Advertisers don't want like a bunch of
No, they want happy consumer, far left happy consumers.
yeah. But I do
Hashtag
agree
gay
that
pride.
they do have a lot of big companies, not all of them, but a lot of them are pretty liberal for sure. when it comes to the right getting persecuted, if you look at the times, like Steven Crowder, for instance, look at Steven Crowder and look at like why he's like permanently demonetized on YouTube. It's like clear cut. It's like they gave him warnings, they gave him chances, but he ignored that. And here's the thing: being demonetized on YouTube, freaking, if anything, my guess he might even like it.
I'm gonna say that I don't think you're speaking completely on facts, though. I think you're speaking mostly on what you've absorbed from left-stream media sources.
Hold on.
Because there's a court case that Twitter and Meta were on about how they've banned dozens of politicians, right-wing, for just posting media campaign updates. A lot of what they banned, you're just talking about these extreme views which it may or may not have been justified. But there are plenty that were just bullshit. Like just by posting things that were like just simple campaign updates or just like opinions on a hot political topic that just came up, like an opinion, something that's interpretable, like they really just banned it. Everybody, I mean, like Musk was there. The old owner of Twitter was on this court case. Like, it was a federal hearing where they were talking about whether or not they were in violation of freedom of speech, where the line is with social media, because this is a hot topic. Ted Cruz lining it a lot because he is very pro freedom of speech. It's one of the reasons. It's one of the few reasons why I like Ted Cruz.
Let me say this then. So when you're talking about censorship on social media, are you more talking about the social media platform itself censoring it, or are you still talking about advertisers?
No, I'm talking about the platforms. Advertisement is just a small part of it.
Okay.
I
don't think that the social media companies themselves should have the right to censor what they say, but I still think the companies should be able to.
Yeah, I'm investigating some of this.
I will send you videos at some point during the week for you to watch them about this, because the old owner of Twitter, Zuckerberg, they get questioned and berated, and there's a meme about that too. Like, you ever see that picture where it's Mark Zuckerberg in a suit with dead eyes, looking pale, and people make fun of him looking like a robot? That's from that hearing. That's that's where they were talking about censorship. And advertisement is just merely a small part of it. They are incentivized with their advertisement but they also seek advertisement that's left wing. There's plenty of advertisement companies that are right wing, but they choose to get the left wing ones on there.
And by the way, I'm looking at a lot of this. A lot of the times they're suspended for like a week or two. Suspended for 14 days.
But you see how that can inhibit a
suspended
politician?
for 7, suspended for less than a day.
But you see how that can inhibit a politician's ability to campaign?
And are these like...
And I'm looking at the reasons. Yeah.
Are you able to see...
for what Twitter... different... A lot of these are Twitter. Some of this, there's Facebook. And I'm looking at for what...
Twitter was notorious. Way worse than Facebook.
Twitter is most of these, yeah.
Are you able to see
like
if they're more... are you able to see... Like, probably not, but like, are they more right-wing or more left-wing?
Oh, these are right-wing for sure, yeah. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, are
so I think that's where the problem lies. I think
Republican. Now, here's the thing.
It wouldn't be as much of an issue if it was an even split, but it's not.
But here's the thing, though. I hate to say it, in my opinion, the right wing of this country have lost their damn minds.
No,
they believe
so have the liberal.
The left wing is crazier than the right wing, in my opinion.
Okay. In my opinion, there's some from the.
Dude, here's what's out of their damn mind when it comes to the left wing: forcing everybody to use different goddamn pronouns, forcing people to adhere to their views. First of all, look, I don't care if you're gay or not. All right, that's not my. I'm a libertarian. You want a dick in your butt? Go right ahead, man. Freedom of the people.
Yes.
All right. However, you can't get mad at somebody for thinking it's a little fucking gross.
Yeah. No, and people have free speech to say whatever they want to say about that. Now, are really quick, we got to clarify. Are we talking about there's the left, right? Which is like a big thing.
I'm
Just
talking
like there's
about
the right.
the left, the right. All
But
of them.
but there's also politicians in office. So like it's different. Like there's the right, and then there's like politicians.
Well,
there's the left, and then there's the left politicians.
Well, I think
So-
encompassing both. I don't think splitting it apart really matters. I do think that
Well,
that
you know, there's a difference though, because a lot of left politicians, they're not saying some of the crazier stuff you see on Twitter.
This much is true.
Crazy. Depends on what you deem as crazy. I think it's crazy to force people to use other pronouns.
But that's not what a lot of that's not what they're saying.
A lot of like, I'm
When,
just
like
saying,
if you look at the stuff AOC says, yeah, she supports trans rights, but there's no bill
not
she's
like
sponsoring.
Okay.
She's
Yeah, like
not-
it's not if I. It's not a huge. I think what Billy's trying to say is that there's not. It's not a huge issue for like. Okay,
I'll
like
give an
there's.
example when it's huge.
Name me a single trans politician.
I'll do something better. I'll give you something that's actually, in my mind, something serious. When people were talking about the COVID vaccine and whether or not they should take it, there were plenty of right wing politicians, right wing people that were very, no, wait and see. Like this does seem a little weird how it's being forced on the people. I believe, like especially a right wing politician is very, like regardless of their views on it, are going to be very pro-choice in terms of taking a vaccine because they do tend to, like, aside from abortion, right-wing people, it's really their only thing is abortion and gay rights. Like if you take that away, everything
there's
else
other
is
stuff.
hold on.
There's
If
a
you take
lot.
that away, I'm talking
Yeah.
about just how they view freedoms in general. If you take that away, they tend to be very pro-freedom. Like they tend to be. If you take away those two things,
When you say gay rights, you're encompassing like trans, like all the rights, not
LGBT,
just
yeah.
LGBT,
the whole community.
the whole community.
The whole
Okay.
community. So, like, if you take away those two things, the right tends to be more pro-freedom.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
whereas I would also see the left as like pro-freedom in a lot of other areas, but then they're very not pro-freedom in areas that I disagree that should be. Like
Yeah, perhaps,
with theirs,
I-
it's conform or you're a bigot.
Yeah.
Like-
Now, again, remember, there is a lot of that sentiment on social media. You're absolutely valid. I'm just saying the reason why a lot of left politicians, they don't say crazy shit
Because
that
they
gets
go
them
along
banned.
they go along with the narrative. They don't get banned because to them they're going along with the narrative.
Here's
To
the thing.
They don't need to.
What's the right doing then?
The right,
right-
is
They
going
have
against-
they have their own narrative.
Look at
hold
some
on,
of the-
but
look at
there's the left narrative, the right narrative, and then there's the narrative, which to me would be whatever is popular in that moment.
There's
So-
a brief history of politicians that got suspended from various social media platforms.
Hold on, we just hit an interesting point. We're talking about narratives just now. Hold
Okay,
on.
all right,
All right, because
all right.
so you have the left narrative and the right narrative, but then you have the narrative, and it's whatever is popular in that moment. The left in recent years has hardly ever had to be oppositional, because what's going around on mainstream media is their views. All they have to do is nod and smile.
Oh, here's a good point though. It hasn't always been like that. That's a more recent thing. Look at Reagan. It was way more socially acceptable to be right wing back then.
Yes.
Like I mean, he won by the biggest landslide in American history.
Yes.
Like, but and I don't think that the right wing people in the '80s were saying nearly as much of this. Like they were a lot more reasonable back then. I think.
I don't think the right wing today and age is too unreasonable, minus abortion and gay rights. That's just about it. Like to me, what about them in modern times is unreasonable?
All right, so I think they're way too pro, like no rules. They're when it comes to the economy, they are very much big believers for big corporations having them privatize the gains and socialize
but
the
when it
losses.
comes to left,
I almost said no rules, but that's not even entirely true. Republicans do support rules, but they support regulations that specifically help the biggest corporations in America.
okay. Here's my problem with that statement right there. The left does the same thing.
Oh, I would say the Democrats, yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
you just want
A lot of the Democrats I view as more center than left.
No,
I think-
I'd say more right wing people tend to be more centered. Like honestly, most conservative people I meet are like, "No, I'm pro-choice. No, I don't care if you're gay." Most of the
Yeah. But if you look at politicians, whoops! Oh, the politicians are way far to the right than most
But
people.
the left tends to be more. The left tends to be more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they're
Extremists?
extremists, and they're very like against nonconformity. Like you have to conform to their views, if not, you're a bigot. Like look at the Andrew Tate thing. Look, I don't like Andrew Tate just as a thing. I understand why he got popular. It's because there's a lot of dudes in this world right now that are not having a good run of it. A lot of dudes today are feeling a type of way about the way the world is. More dudes in their 20s and 30s are single than ever before. Most dudes don't have an ability to make it in an economy, so they're defeated in that way.
Yeah.
They can't find love. They can't flourish economically. The life we were promised was not the life we were given. We can't really figure out what women want.
Well, I think women can't figure out what women want. So.
Valid.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge uproar of sad dudes who have nowhere else to turn to because for male advocates that market is very limited. Like really, for male advocates, who do you have? You have Andrew
There was a
Tate.
vacuum. For sure, you're right. There was a big vacuum, and he filled that void.
He did.
And
so some of the things he said.
And it was horrible because he's a fucking lunatic in a lot of ways.
Look,
Not in every way, but in a lot of
He
ways.
has said a lot of out-of-pocket shit.
Yeah.
But
he's also said a lot of good shit.
He's also said a lot of good shit.
Some of the stuff, yeah. Some of the stuff.
A lot of the stuff.
Some.
Yeah.
I can't just I can't just be like I don't like him, clump crazy bad.
Exactly.
Like he give and take. He has said, and some things that you can tell he's hot-headed in that when he's having a debate with somebody, that he'll just get flustered and say something out of pocket. Like
Oh yeah, for some reason he is terrible at debates. Oh my god.
But when he's by
Son
himself,
fucking destroyed him.
when he's by
It was
himself,
embarrassing.
he spits facts when he's by himself. Not all the time, but a lot of the time he does say things that are like one thing that gets taken out of pocket a lot is he said this, if you want a traditional man, then you have to be a traditional woman. A lot of women want a traditional man, but they don't want to be traditional women. That is valid.
Yeah.
Like you can't
I
want
think it goes the other way too. There's a lot of guys that want trad wives, but they're not trad themselves.
I
it
don't
goes
like I don't
both
like I don't
ways.
like abbreviating
That's-
traditional with trad. I think it sounds
Or whatever. or
Besides the
traditional,
point.
whatever.
Besides the point, but I do agree with that.
Yeah.
That's like.
well. What men have no other option to be traditional. Like really, what other outs you have? We have to. Most men in this country have to work for a living. We have to provide. That hasn't changed. That really hasn't changed. Like if open doors for women is really the only thing. But men are also nowadays we've got a lot of men get yelled at for opening doors 50% of the time. Men don't even know when a situation is dangerous.
I've never seen a man get yelled at for.
I've gotten yelled at for opening a door
Seriously.
for yeah, dude. It wasn't.
It depends.
I've never seen that in my life.
I will say, out of the hundreds of times I've opened doors for women, this has only happened once.
Okay, see, yeah.
For me.
have you seen it? Have you even seen it happen?
I
to
have
anyone
seen it
else?
happen to other dudes. I have
Like
seen
in
it.
person or
Yeah,
online?
walking like a strip mall or something, or going to the mall, or going in public.
So what they say? Oh, I need you to open the door for me.
Yeah, something like that. Or they'll snarl at them.
Yeah, those are crazy people.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
What up, dude? What is the plan?
I'm at the clubhouse.
Okay, well, I'll head right over.
Alright, yeah, Billy?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. See you guys in a few.
Yes, see you guys in a few.
Whoa, hold on. You gotta
All right,
do a seamless transition.
we got to give an outro here. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on,
Li-
come
just
on,
a little something. All right.
Oh,
So
but just to really quickly finish that thought, I do agree on there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of valid stuff. There's a lot of, and it's not taken seriously because it's men issues. If it, it's getting disregarded specifically because it's men, especially if you're a white man,
yeah.
are I hate to say it, but you're viewed
It's-
as you don't have a right to complain ever.
Especially,
at all.
yeah. We're gonna get yelled at just for saying that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fucking true.
that might
If we get yelled at for saying that, you're proving the point. Yeah. What? Okay.
So like when
I do agree totally with you on that. However, Andrew Tate, I will say, it is very clear he's a big misogynist.
Oh, 100%. Undeniable.
He fucking hates
Yeah.
women. All right.
I mean, I understand the hate though. I'm not. Hold on. There's a difference between saying understanding versus agreeing.
Okay, true. No, I know. I'm not. If you would have said I agree, that would have been different. But even understanding, like what? He's had it pretty good most of his life.
It's not about that, dude. It's
Incorrect, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
They both of the Tate brothers came from fucking nothing. They came
Their
from
dad was a famous chess player.
yeah.
you know?
After they were poor for fucking like 10 years or some shit. Like they grew up basically fucking homeless. I don't know when
shit.
the whole chess thing happened,
Okay,
but
maybe.
they were struggling. I will say that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Maybe
yeah.
I was wrong then. I jumped.
a lot. It's fun. I think a lot of women tend to forget what they tend to put men through. Like men. We have a tendency to be very supportive. I would argue that we are the romantic gender today. Like,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, women only tend to date up. Men only ever feel like we're valued for what we can provide, as opposed to being valued as a person.
Yeah.
That's
That's always been the case.
Yeah, but like I feel like it wasn't so bad back in the day where women actually can fall in love with the man himself, not just what he can provide. But today and age, women want daddies.
There are those women do exist.
And there's a lot of, I'd say
100%.
I'd say that's I'm in the dating pool, and I actively go on dates and stuff. Now, it's not every woman, but it is like sifting through garbage.
It's a lot. Yeah, well, I feel like that comes down to like fucking biology. Like if you look at it, like most species, the man has to impress the woman to really get anything.
But
That's not even just humans.
but
You
it's
can
not
look at
even-
any fucking.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, though, men don't really care. Men have hit a point now, there's a psychologist talking about it, men have hit a point now where we don't really care anymore. Men have mentally checked out. Like, women are actually, like, online complaining, like, why can't I find a man? It's because, like, we're working, and when we're not working, we're home playing video games or taking a nap. Like, doing our hobbies, the things that make us happy. But
Actually, funny enough, like, I think
and women also...
Are you be careful with the way, because I actually kind of disagree with what you just said. I actually think, especially young men, our generation, young men right now are actually kind of they need hobbies. You said I actually think they.
So that's your personal opinion, but factually speaking, more men aren't putting themselves in that situation. That is statistics.
Okay.
There's no lies there.
Well, I know in general, young men right now, there's a bit of a mental health crisis with young men
But
right
that's
now.
not because of hobbies.
Yeah.
It's not because of hobbies. That's not, oh, these men are mentally ill, so they must lack hobbies. That's an out-of-pocket correlation.
I don't even think it's mental illness.
Mental illness is whatever. It could be depression.
It's like what's
What
the
did I
word?
just say? Did I
what's
say
the-
mental illness? I didn't mean
I think
to.
so. What is that called? That's an epidemic.
It's an
Mental health.
Mental health issues. So men having horrible mental health these days
There you go.
is
Yeah.
not correlated to a lack of hobbies.
Okay, perhaps. Yeah.
Actually, men have more hobbies now than we have in forever. We have video games, working on cars. We have fishing. We have
Sports.
We have
Yeah.
hanging out with friends. The three of us are doing a podcast
Well,
right now as
actually,
we speak.
I've heard we.
So let me finish this thought though.
Okay, yeah, go on.
So-
Go on.
Why men are having such horrible mental health is for two reasons. One, economic suppression. We are not able to get to where we want to. We keep working hard and not going anywhere because of how bad this economy is. I mean, literally, cost of living now is worse than it was in the Great Depression.
You cannot buy a house.
You cannot buy a
can't
house.
buy a house.
Yeah.
What are you?
Oh, by the way, that housing bubble I've heard is probably gonna pop.
We're I'm really hoping it does. We are working to live currently. Like, that is a depressing life. The amount of men who have a baby mama and they can't see their kid, yet they're still paying child support. And there's, like, when it comes to believing women, I'm calling cap on a lot of it. A lot of the single mothers I've seen, the male wants to be involved. A lot. Modern. Our parents' generation was different. today's generation, a lot of the men I know who are fathers and can't see their kids is overwhelming. I've never even met one that said, "No, I don't want to see my kid. Fuck that kid." I see him actively going to court and trying to be a part of his kid's life, and the baby mama making shit up about him in the courtroom. Like
That guy you're talking about, is that our generation though?
Our generation.
That's our generation.
Our parents' generation was different. I'll give you that. Back then, there were a lot of deadbeat dads, but that has not transitioned in today's age. Most men want to be a part of their kid's life. Most men don't have a lot going on in their lives and need something to feel like they're protecting, providing for. It gives them purpose. But we're denied that. Most men can't find love. That's a hard thing to deal with. So you're working to live, you have no sight of getting to where you want to go, and you're doing it alone.
That's depressing as fuck.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder men there's a reason why men commit suicide at the rates we do. Like, if they say if you have a huge chance of committing suicide all the way up until you're 30, then you have a nice gap, but then it shoots back up when you're in your 40s, and it correlates to divorce rates and stuff. So it's like, even if you find it, you run a high chance of losing it. And then men don't want to get married because it's like, it doesn't benefit us. Like, there's like, all it is like, it's signing up to lose half your shit.
That's why.
And then you spent this entire life, and you're losing half your shit, spending an entire life working your ass off for it. And not even, most men only ever receive flowers at their funeral. We live a very...
Most men?
Most men only ever receive flowers at their funeral. Dude,
Have you ever been given flowers for no reason?
I've been given flowers before.
Have you been given flowers though? Received.
Yeah, I've received flowers.
See, I never have. Have you?
You have. Dan.
Probably, but like not enough. Definitely not. Like I've given flowers more than I've gotten.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
I've definitely given more flowers than I've received. But at the same time, though,
I mean,
it's like,
it's
okay,
weird though. You
we
say
can't-
flowers.
Yeah, we can't
It's
use
an
flowers
expression.
as that. That's
It's
a
an
very
expression. It's an expression. It means that so you know how women get compliments? Men don't get compliments. Men don't hear, dude, you know how long it's been since I heard someone say, "It's gonna be alright, man." Like someone, like, aside from like my close friends, which I'm lucky to have, a lot of men are alone.
Yeah, true. A lot of that's a big thing in
I mean-
today's today's society with young men today. They actually I've heard statistically there's a decreased rate in friendship. But anyway, and there's a lot of other crap. But so we got to wrap this up.
we got it.
So let's do our. How should we outro this?
Well, same way as always. Once again, it's been against the grain, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the short session. We're kind of. I hope we're not leaving.
They gotta go play
mental
fucking D&D.
walls. You know.
We might be living with a little bit of
that
blue
happens every
balls.
time.
Yeah.
Please argue in the comments, and we'll get back to you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's that's actually how this should work. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. For now, stay awesome. Fuck the government, and keep on keeping on and rock on.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yes.